Hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, here to bring you live coverage of this upcoming high school girls lacrosse game between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Natick High Redhawks. Apologies for the slight delay in the start here. It seems that the Natick bus must have hit traffic or something. They were a little late to get here, but they are here. And so the hope is that we'll be starting in just a few minutes. Hopefully we'll be starting soon. Team's got to warm up, as you can see over here on my right. The Natick Redhawks in their red jerseys with blue jersey numbers are currently warming up. While on the other side, the Brookline Warriors with their white jerseys with blue jersey numbers and red outlines have finished their warming up, and they're about ready to get this going whenever Natick's ready. So while we wait, we'll just go through the two teams' lineups really quick. First, for the home team, Brookline Warriors. Just going alphabetically by last name as the roster was given to me. We have a senior defender, number 13, Ava Bauman. A freshman midfielder, number 28, Abby Cooney. A senior midfielder, number 9, Anya Downey. A sophomore defender, number 20, Ellery Eisenhower. A junior defender, number 18, Jada Kelly. A senior goalie, number 25, Kaylin Carrain. A freshman attacker, number 11, Madison Carrain. A senior attacker, number 5, Fiona Lawrence. A senior defender, number 7, Nina Luby. A junior attacker, number 14, Kellen McNamara. A senior attacker, number 19, Ayana Medina. A senior defender, number 10, Zoe Mendoza. A junior defender, number 17, Lee Mitchell. A senior attacker, number 3, Andrea Modakaitis. A senior attacker, number 12, Hannah Park. A senior defender, number 16, Lily Rogers. A sophomore midfielder, number 8, Faith Rothstein. A sophomore midfielder, number 9, Charlotte Smith. And another sophomore midi, number 15, Talia Thompson. And rounding out the lineup, a senior attacker, number 5, Charlotte Vincent. Except no, that's right, I learned this last game I covered. Charlotte Vincent is actually number 6. It's just a typo here on my roster. Switching over to the lineup for the Natick Redhawks as they continue their warm-ups. Going in order of jersey number as it was given to me. Starting off, a senior, number 2, Lily Kingdon. A senior co-captain, number 3, Mary Doherty. A freshman, number 4, Mia Sullivan. A senior, number 5, Emily Kochi. A sophomore, number 6, Catherine Connolly. A sophomore, number 7, Chase Opie. A junior, number 8, Nina Petula. A freshman, number 9, Lauren Feeney. A freshman, number 10, Olivia Norchi. A junior, number 11, Monica Petula. A sophomore, number 12, Olivia D'Alessandro. A sophomore, number 13, Sarah Kochi. A junior, number 15, Amelia Morales. A senior, number 16, Molly Healy. A sophomore, number 17, Julie McCauley. A senior co-captain, number 18, Alexandra McGrath. A senior, number 24, Megan Cuddy. And a freshman, number 50, Hannah Lawrence. So there's the lineup for the Natick Redhawks, the visiting team here. Brookline Warriors, the home team. Coaches for either side. For Brookline High, head coach is Jamie Gallagher. And for Natick, the head coach, Tanner Guarino Hetnick. A happy coincidence, this is not actually the first time I've covered Tanner Guarino on a lacrosse field. We both went to UMass Amherst, and while Tanner was a senior midfielder for the UMass women's lacrosse team, I was a junior sports writer for the college paper who happened to be on the women's lacrosse beat. So nice to see a fellow UMass alum doing well here. Always nice to see a familiar name. As we see players and coaches meeting with the officials at midfield before the game. We will soon be getting this game underway, I suspect. Once again, my name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am here at a toasty Downs field here in Brookline, Massachusetts. The spring warmth has come out today and is expected to come out for most of this week. We've got projections throughout the week of temperatures in the 70s and even the low 80s throughout much of this week. So players got to make sure they stay hydrated throughout this one. Two teams break off into their respective huddles. Once again, the Natick Redhawks in red jerseys on my right, and the Brookline Warriors in white jerseys on my left. Well, as the two teams are still huddling up, waiting to get this one underway, I'm going to take a short mute break, but I'll be back for the start of the action. Stay tuned. Two teams breaking their huddles now as Brookline players. Oh, thank you. My apologies. Yep. Yep. Oops. Apologies for the commotion, folks. I was on the field of play, didn't know where the sideline was, so a bit of an erroneous start. All nowhere to go but up from here, I figure. Okay. Here we go. Opening draw is underway. It is scooped up by Brookline. That is number 6, Charlotte Vincent with the ball. Passes it ahead, was aiming for Ayana Medina, but missed. Taken away by Natick's number 7. Running along the far sideline. Attempted pass is intercepted by Anya Downey. Downey running with it. Passes it ahead, complete to Medina this time. Medina runs around one defender. Runs into another, and it seems like she drew a penalty. Ayana Medina will be operating out of the free position. Starts charge, decides to pull back. Swings it over to Downey. Downey throws it into the corner over to 28, Abby Cooney. Cooney working around the back, sends a pass behind the net. Swing around now, and they give it up top to Kellen McNamara, who then gives it over to Medina. Brookline looking for the opening. Medina starting to charge. Jukes out a defender, but then decides against it. Passes back out to McNamara. McNamara runs into her defender, loses the ball. Manages to recover, and Rashipa loses it again, and recovers again. Now charges straight for the net, and loses it a third time, and this time it is taken by Natick. Running in transition is Natick's number 3, Mary Doherty. Swings a pass ahead and misses her target. She was aiming for number 24, Megan Cuddy. The inlet pass after the turnover goes to Ayana Medina, now running in some space. She pulls up and sends it over to McNamara. McNamara starts to charge, decides against it, passes out to Downey. Downey surveying the field, swings it over to Medina. Medina throws it into Downey. Downey breaks for the goal, shoots, turned away. We've got a whistle and a foul, and it looks like Downey will be taking the free position shot. Hannah Lawrence in net for the Redhawks as Downey charges, shoots, and scores! First goal of the day goes to Anya Downey. A great find on the give and go with Ayana Medina. Gave Downey a good opening towards the net. She drew the foul and capitalized on the shot out of the free position. 1-0, Brookline leads Natick after that first goal of the game here in the first period of play. Now back in the center for the draw. Up in the air it goes, being chased down, and it's going to be recovered by Natick. That is number 8, Nina Petula, now running with the ball, being defended by Downey, who has the game's lone goal thus far. Swings it over to number 11, Monica Petula. Swings a couple of long passes, now over to the far side, that's number 3, Doherty. Mary Doherty sends it behind the net. Coming out of the back, surveying. Now starting to rush for it. And the ball is taken away but they blow a whistle. That was Nina Petula, the ball carrier there. And she draws the foul. She'll be operating out of the free position. There's the whistle. She charges towards the net. Takes the shot. Saved by Karain. They got a whistle and they send Petula behind the net as Karain works on the clear attempt. Completes a pass ahead to Faith Rothstein. Rothstein passes ahead. It's dropped, but then recovered by Kellen McNamara. McNamara passes it ahead to Medina. Ayana Medina being well defended, but spins around her defender. Spins again, and then swings a pass over to McNamara. McNamara starting to charge, seeing if she can bull through her defender. Takes the shot, turned away by Lawrence. Loose ball around the net, and it's picked up by Natick. Now running with it is number 5, Emily Kochi. Kochi still running with it, going along the far sideline. Looks like she's got the speed to get into the attack zone. Kochi sends it behind the net. And it looks like number 10's going to be coming around the back. Nice spin move, shot, score! Olivia Norchi puts Natick on the board and ties this game. A nice spin move around her defender. And we've got an early timeout here. So the score 1-1 thus far here in the first quarter of play at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. Brookline's goal coming from number 9, Anya Downey. And Natick's goal coming from number 10, Olivia Norchi. Brookline getting the score from one of their seniors, and for Natick, from one of their freshmen. Interesting, the dichotomy there is the same as the dichotomy between the pipes. As for Brookline, they have the senior Kaylin Karain in net today, while Natick has the freshman Hannah Lawrence. Each one has had one nice save so far today, but they've also each given up a goal. So fairly even thus far early in this contest. And we'll see what these teams are able to do going forward after this timeout. Not entirely sure who called the timeout. You know, usually it's easy to tell when a timeout is called because usually one team is dominating another or at least has the momentum, and so the other team calls timeout to try and stop the momentum. But here, this early in the game, when it's a tie ball game, you feel like it's just got to be something the coach doesn't like, what they're seeing early on. But either way, after the goal by Norchi, we go back to the draw circle. Looks like it's going to be number 11, Monica Petula, taking the draw for Natick, while for Brookline, it'll be number 6, Charlotte Vincent. Ball is placed. There's the whistle, and the ball is up in the air. And it's a loose ball, and it looks like that's going to be a call against Natick. That was Nina Petula who knocked over Vincent from behind. And so Brookline will get to start their possession out of the free position now. Vincent quickly swings a pass over to Anya Downey, the lone goal scorer for Brookline thus far. Downey moving with some space, wings a pass over to McNamara. McNamara now swings it over to Medina. And Medina looks like she drew a foul. from number 18, Alexandra McGrath. So Medina now coming out of the free position. She charges and runs into the defense and decides to pull back. A float pass inside. Loose ball picked up for a second by Downey, and she draws the whistle. A dangerous pass inside, and Downey did a good job chasing after the ball and drawing the foul. She's coming out of the free position again, charges, shoots, scores! Anya Downey again from the free position. That combination of Medina and Downey working wonders for the Brookline Warriors here early in this contest. Twice Medina has floated a pass inside looking for Downey. Twice Downey has managed to draw a foul off that opportunity, and twice she has capitalized on that free position opportunity. 2-1, Brookline now leads. It'll be Vincent versus Petula on the draw once again. Ball is up in the air. A collision of players and a loose ball. It's picked up by Downey. Downey floats the pass ahead to McNamara. McNamara running with it, getting into the attack zone, and still running. She's got some space, trying to go around several defenders, and she ends up going all the way behind the net. Swings a pass over. Another dangerous pass for Vincent, and we got a whistle. And so it'll be Charlotte Vincent coming out of the free position this time. Took a risky pass from Faith Rothstein, but managed to draw the foul. And so another good chance to score for Brookline. They've been very effective at drawing penalties thus far. Okay, looks like the connection's back. Sorry about that, folks. Spotty Wi-Fi, I guess, but either way, Natick didn't move too much. They are now just trying to get their way past midfield. The pass ahead goes to Emily Kochi, number 5. Working along midfield, she gets a bit of a push and draws a whistle and just keeps moving the ball quickly. Trying to get around the defenders is number 8, that's Nina Petula. Petula passes back out, cutting to the net and shooting and scoring is Emily Kochi. Nina Petula did a nice job drawing the defenders and then found Kochi, who weaved her way through and buried the goal to tie things up at 2 goals apiece. A hotly contested match thus far, as we've got a new draw taker for Natick. This is number 7, Chase Opie, going up against Charlotte Vincent. Two to 2 the score here at Downs Field. Draw is taken, and it's won by Downey. And we got a whistle. Downey wanted to keep running. The official says, no, you got to come back. Ironically, this penalty actually gives an advantage to Natick, but Downey floats it ahead to Medina. Medina may have no points on the day, but it's not for a lack of good passes inside to Downey. As she swings it over to McNamara. McNamara lost the ball, picked it back up, and starts to charge towards the net, shoots and misses wide. Abby Cooney there to recover it behind the net. Swings a pass over to, I believe, Faith Rothstein. And then sends the pass out to Vincent, now up top to Medina. Medina sends it over to McNamara. McNamara sends it over to Cooney. Cooney bringing it around, passes to Downey. Downey starts to cut inside, hits traffic and pulls back, looking for another option. Hesitating and passing it up top to Rothstein. Rothstein surveys, swings it over to Downey. Downey going around a pick, still no room to work. Floats one over to McNamara. McNamara starting to charge, hits traffic, and passes it out to Cooney. Cooney sends it back up top to Anya Downey. Downey with both the Brookline goals thus far as she surveys the field. Swings it over to Vincent, who sends it all the way back behind. Now back to Downey, now back to, I think, Rothstein. Rothstein trying to fight her way through, floats it up for Downey. Downey takes the long shot, and she scores! Top shelf from Anya Downey. Just floated that one in there from a high position, really. Out of a bit of a distance, couldn't put too much snap on that ball, but she placed it perfectly and gets the go-ahead score there. Downey with the hat trick already, all 3 of her team's goals, and her first assisted goal officially on the scorebook, with the assist going to number 8, Faith Rothstein. It'll be Opie versus Vincent on the draw once again. Brookline 3, Natick 2. Draw taken. We've got a whistle blown, though. That one might not have gotten enough verticality, I guess. The draw taken, and we got a whistle again, and they're just going to give it to Brookline. So Vincent operating out of the free position. She takes off running, trying to get her team into the attack zone, and she does without issue. Sends the pass ahead. Trying to force her way through is number 12, Hannah Park. Park running around with it, sends a pass over to the corner to Abby Cooney. Cooney sends it behind the net. I believe that is Rothstein. We've got a whistle. Not quite sure what for, but either way, play stops temporarily. Faith Rothstein with the ball. She's got 1 assist so far today, assisting on the most recent go-ahead goal for Brookline. Rothstein starts to move towards the net, tries to force her way through, and draws a foul. Rothstein will be operating out of the free position again. Second consecutive time this possession. And more of a direct line to the net this time, so it could be a challenge for goalie Hannah Lawrence. Rothstein charges, loses the ball, but we got a whistle again. And so Rothstein will again take the free position. Now she charges, shoots, saved by Lawrence, loose ball. Still loose and recovered by Brookline. They get to reset on that one. Pass out to Medina, pass into Downey. Downey trying to fight her way around and draws another whistle. Brookline really forcing the issue on the inside and drawing so many fouls, giving them a lot of free position chances. Downey's scored twice from the free position so far. She charges, shoots, and scores again. So automatic. All 4 goals for Brookline thus far scored by the senior midfielder, Anya Downey. 3 of them out of the free position as Brookline continues to attack the inside and draw those fouls. I mean, if you're able to box yourself out properly and force the defense to have to push hard enough for a foul, then you're going to get those calls and you're going to get those free position chances all day long. And that's what Brookline is doing early in this game as they take a 4-2 lead over the visiting Natick Redhawks. Back on the draw, it's Opie versus Vincent. And again, we've got what appears to be a false start call on the draw against Opie, and so Vincent gets it to start. Vincent goes around one defender and into the attack zone. Floats a pass across. I believe that's Hannah Park. Sends it up top to Downey. 4 goals already for the senior midfielder as she passes it over to Ayana Medina. Medina swings it over to Kellen McNamara. Over to the corner to Cooney. Cooney looking around, surveying. Sends it over to McNamara. McNamara sends it out to Downey. Downey surveying. Sends a pass risky to Medina. Dropped for a second and recovered. Now she's charging towards the net, being attacked by the defense and draws the whistle again. It'll be Ayana Medina out of the free position this time. We'll see if she can be the first non-Anya Downey goal scorer for Brookline today. She charges, takes her shot, turned away by Lawrence. Hannah Lawrence doing a fantastic job keeping Natick in this game. The freshman netminder has stopped everyone not named Anya Downey. Slowly surveying as the Natick players frantically run around trying to get open for an outlet pass from the freshman netminder. Still looking. Still looking. And now retreating. Finally throws a pass that goes over her teammate's head and out of bounds. She was aiming at Alexandra McGrath, but her pass was too high. And so Brookline immediately takes over. Quick forced turnover by the Brookline defense, and Ayana Medina with the first pass over to Anya Downey. Downey passes inside for Cooney. It's deflected away by the defense and recovered by Natick. Running along the far sideline into the attack zone, and we've got a whistle blown. I believe that is number 18, Alexandra McGrath, running with the ball for Natick. Swings a pass over to Emily Kochi, and now over to number 6, Catherine Connolly. Now over to the corner for number 24, Megan Cuddy. Behind the net, and now out from behind. Swing a couple passes over, that's back to McGrath. McGrath sends it up top to number 11, Monica Petula. Now back over to McGrath. McGrath sends a pass for Petula. Petula hits traffic and retreats. Petula sends a pass over to the corner, and now behind the net. They try and float a pass, intercepted by Karain, and Brookline takes over. Brookline with some nice defensive stands the past few possessions. And that's going to be a foul against, or was that the whistle for the quarter? A little bit of confusion there. And it seems they decide, yes, that was the end of the first period. We are through one here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. The score, the hosting Brookline Warriors 4, the visiting Natick Redhawks 2. Goals from Natick thus far have come from Olivia Norchi and Emily Kochi. While for Brookline, it's been all Anya Downey. 4 goals from the senior midi, including 3 from the free position, and 1 assisted by Faith Rothstein. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, live here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, and I'll be back with the second period after a short mute break. Stay tuned. Hello, hello, and welcome back to Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, here to bring you live coverage of this high school girls lacrosse game between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Natick High Redhawks. The score after one period: Brookline 4, Natick 2. All 4 Brookline goals coming from senior midfielder Anya Downey, while the 2 Natick goals come from Olivia Norchi and Emily Kochi. First draw of the second period. Natick has not had a lot of luck with the draws so far this game. This one up in the air, collected for a second, then lost, and then picked up again. This is Chase Opie winning the draw. A good start to the second period for the Redhawks, who had so much trouble on the draws last period. The pass over to Mary Doherty. She cuts, shoots. Turned away by Kaylin Carrain. Loose ball around the net. Scooped up and then passed over to Monica Petula. She sends it up top to Doherty. Doherty over to Opie. Opie looking around, sends a pass behind the net. And now passing to a cutting Petula. It's intercepted by Carrain once again. Natick has tried that sneaky pass from behind a couple of times, and both times Kaylin Carrain has said, nope, not in this part of the field, and intercepted them. And then, of course, she had the nice save earlier in that possession off the shot from the senior co-captain, Mary Doherty. Carrain now surveys, gets the outlet pass away to number 20, and now swung over to number 13. This is Ava Bauman with the ball currently, after receiving the pass from Ellery Eisenhower. Now another pass, this one over to number 7, Nina Luby. Luby running with it. The defender is going to take it all the way into the attack zone herself. Still going, finally runs out of room and sends a pass inside, misses her target, but the loose ball is picked up by Rothstein, passed out to McNamara. McNamara starting to charge, hits traffic, runs out of room, and ends up behind the net. Swings a pass over, and now a pass over to Downey. Downey shot off the bar. The long ricochet is chased down and scooped up by Rothstein. Rothstein swings a pass over to Abby Cooney. Abby Cooney, being chased from behind, pulls up and sends a pass across the attack line over to Kellen McNamara. McNamara sends a pass inside, just misses her target. It was Hannah Park who would have had a good chance there. Instead, it's a turnover, and the long pass goes to Doherty. Doherty being contested by Talia Thompson, but Doherty just keeps running, and it looks like she'll get into the attack zone. Doherty starting to run out of real estate, but she cuts inside, cuts back out, and ends up behind the net where the offense resets. Exciting sequence there, but no score from either side. Swinging passes around, and it goes to Monica Petula. Now up top to Emily Kochi. Kochi swings it over to Alexandra McGrath. Couple more passes. Now we're behind the net. And it's back to number 10, Olivia Norchi. Norchi trying to see if she can sneak another goal past Luby, but not this time, and she has to pass it back out to Monica Petula. Petula starting to charge, going against Downey, but some help defense arrives, and Petula has to retreat. Sends the pass out to McGrath. McGrath operating from the point. Starting to charge. Fakes out her defender. Shot saved by Carrain. Kaylin Carrain with a good game in net so far, as she now looks for an outlet pass to get the clear started. Sends a pass to a cutting Anya Downey. And Downey's got some room to run. Downey being chased from behind by a few defenders, and finally sends a pass ahead to McNamara. McNamara juggles it, but picks it back up and starts to charge towards the net. Hits the defense, but draws the whistle. McNamara will be operating out of the free position. She'll have a chance to be the first non-Anya Downey scorer for Brookline today. So far, nobody but Downey has had success on the free position for Brookline. Some nice saves by Hannah Lawrence. McNamara charges and turned away again by Lawrence. Anya Downey's got a 100% success rate off free position shots, but the rest of the team a 0% success rate. Absolutely wild, as the loose pass there is scooped up by Downey. Downey sends it over to Medina. Medina now looking around, being defended aggressively. She pushes her way through, runs into some more defense, and draws another whistle. This time it'll be Medina operating out of the free position. Lawrence has turned her away once already. Can she do it again, or will Medina bury this one? Medina charges, gets deflected on her shot by the defenders. Took too long on that one. Easy pickings for Hannah Lawrence. And this is Monica Petula, I believe, running with it. Petula gets it into the attack zone, and Natick takes over. 4-2, still the Brookline lead here in the second period as Natick works their way around the back of the net. This is Norchi with the ball, floats one inside, shot and scored! That is Emily Kochi again. From Norchi to Kochi. And Kochi's second goal of the day cuts the Brookline lead down to 1. The score now Brookline 4, Natick 3. Seven goals between the two teams, only scored by 3 different players. As we head back to the draw circle, and it'll be Charlotte Vincent for Brookline, and for Natick, I think that's Monica Petula. The first draw of this period was won by Chase Opie of Natick, as this draw is being whistled off. Natick's had a lot of problems with draw infractions so far today, and it's been giving Brookline a lot of free possessions. The official giving them another chance this time. The whistle, and it's put up in the air this time. It's being chased down and collected by Anya Downey. Downey running across the attack line, surveying the field, looking for her best passing option, and she decides to swing one over to Vincent, who then sends it over to, I believe, Rothstein. Behind the net, I believe that is... it's number 2 who swings it over to McNamara. Number 2 is... I don't think she's on my roster. McNamara charging towards the net, decides to take the shot and turned away by Lawrence. Brookline recovers, but the pass is taken away. Good defense there by Natick's number 12, Olivia D'Alessandro. She swings the pass over to Mary Doherty. Doherty moving into the attack zone, looking for an opening. She's had one good shot today, turned away by Kaylin Karain. Swings the pass over to Norchi. Norchi with a goal and an assist thus far today, and she passes over to Kochi, who's got 2 scores, and now over to Monica Petula. Petula working against her defender, being pushed back by Bauman, and they blow the whistle. Ava Bauman got a little too physical with that defense there, and so they're going to give the free position to Monica Petula. Petula sends a pass over. Natick now operating behind the net. Pass gets swung over to Norchi. Natick stacking the boxes. Norchi starts to charge on her own, trying to get around, shoots and misses wide. Well defended by Brookline. And so now Natick passes out to Doherty. Doherty runs into traffic and has to retreat, passes over to Kochi. Kochi swings the pass over to Connolly and then over to Petula. And then a pass over to Cuddy. Cuddy moving behind the net. Another pass. And then finally the outlet going along and then passing back out to Kochi. Kochi trying to get around the defense, nothing doing. Floats a pass over to a cutting teammate. A low shot is turned away by Karain. I believe that was number 6, Catherine Connolly, trying to make the chance happen there. And it looks like after that out-of-bounds turnover, they're going to give the ball to Brookline. Ellery Eisenhower seems to be starting with the ball. And she'll be starting the clear attempt. She gets swarmed by the defense, but gets the pass away to Ava Bauman, but it's taken out of bounds. They knock it out of bounds, and it stays with Brookline. Bauman has the ball now. Bauman running with it. Gets swarmed by the defense and draws another whistle against the Redhawks. Slow-moving clear here for Brookline. And finally sends a retreating pass to Anya Downey. Downey cuts away from a couple defenders running along the far sideline, passes ahead to Faith Rothstein. Rothstein across the attack line, and we've got another whistle. The refs working their whistles today. Rothstein running with it, passes it ahead to Downey. Downey surveys and decides to pass it out to Rothstein. Rothstein now running around with it, looking, passes it over to Vincent. Vincent passes it over to McNamara. McNamara over to Medina. 4-3, Brookline leads as the pass goes over to McNamara. McNamara now passes it over to Downey. And then over to the corner to Abby Cooney. And then behind the net, surveying. That was number 2, who now passed it out to Rothstein. Rothstein passes over to Medina. Medina looking around. Starts to charge, cuts around a defender, moving towards the net, and draws a whistle. Another free position chance for Ayana Medina. She's 0 for 2 on them so far, and she's got a bit of a closed-off angle on the right side here. So this might be a tough one for her. We'll see what she decides to do here. Charges in, decides to pass over to Downey. Downey turns around, shoots, and score! We've got a whistle. It seemed that Downey had the goal, but instead she's going to have the free position chance because the official blew the whistle. Downey out of the free position again, charges, shoots. Was there any doubt at all? Was there any doubt at all? 4 for 4 out of the free position is Anya Downey, as she extends the lead to 5-3. That was a nice idea from Ayana Medina to set this up, as it seemed like Downey had a nice spin around goal, but the whistle blown just before she took the shot meant she had to operate out of the free position. And I'll tell you, it seems like she's just made the same move on the free position every single time. She's put in the exact same part of the net from the exact same position, and there's literally nothing Natick can do to stop it. I mean, what do you do against that? If your defense can't stop the exact same play 4 times out of 4, then how do you seal that off? They've been effective for a little while, just keeping Downey from having any chances up to that point, but then once she got her chance, that was it. Brookline 5, Natick 3, and we've got the draw being taken in the middle. This is Chase Opie for Natick, and I assume Charlotte Vincent for Brookline. Draw is taken up in the air, and it's recovered for a second and then recovered again by Downey. Downey draws another whistle, and ref says, no, you can't, just keep running. And now Downey, running along the far side, gets into the attack zone easily, sends a pass over to Medina. Medina working around her defender, starting to charge, looking for an opening, and sends one way over the net. And I think they're going to say that's an out-of-bounds pass instead of a shot. And so they're going to give the ball to Natick. And yeah, they're going to call that a turnover. So again, well defended by the Red Hawks. They've been doing a very effective job defending everyone on Brookline's side. Wait, what? That was a confusing sequence. And no, the ball goes back to Natick. And now running with it, they pass it ahead to Doherty. Doherty into the attack zone. Now cutting towards the middle. Pulls back and swings a pass over to Norchi. Norchi cutting back and forth, trying to look for an opening. Good help defense by Brookline, and she has to pass it back to Chase Opie. Opie a little too physically defended by Ava Bauman and draws the whistle. So it'll be Chase Opie out of the free position. Bit far back will decide if she decides to shoot or pass. Kaylin Corrine awaiting in net. She decides for the shot. It's deflected from behind by the defender. Nice job. I believe that was Talia Thompson who got the deflection there. And so instead operating out of the back, they pass for Kochi, but she falls down and loses the ball. And the whistle gives the ball to Brookline. So passed ahead. This is Anya Downey now running with it, being defended by Opie. Downey gets around her and into the attack zone, and she starts streaking towards the net. Cuts around one defender, cuts around another, cuts around a third, takes the shot, saved by Lawrence. I believe that's the first shot by Anya Downey that hasn't scored, but the long pass is picked off by Ava Bauman. Bauman now running with it, trying to force her way through, and the defender manages to draw the whistle. But not before the horn sounds. And so I think that's halftime. That second period felt like it really flew by. One goal for each team in that second period after the combined 6 goals between the two teams in the first period. The score as we head to the half. Come on. Okay. Seems like I got the connection back again. I'm sorry. Spotty Wi-Fi. But yes, as I was saying, 5-3 Brookline leads. 2 goal on Natick's side, 2 goals from Emily Kochi, a goal and an assist from Olivia Norchi, and 1 assist from Nina Petula. For Brookline, 5 goals from Anya Downey, 4 unassisted, and then 1 assist from Faith Rothstein. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan live here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, and I'll be back with the third period after a mute break. Stay tuned. Hello, I am back on the airwaves here. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm here live at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts to bring you the second half of this high school girls lacrosse game between the visiting Natick High Redhawks and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. The score through 2 periods thus far: Brookline 5, Natick 3. Brookline led in scoring by 5 goals from senior midi Anya Downey. Four goals unassisted out of the free position. And 1 assisted by sophomore midi Faith Rothstein. For Natick, 2 goals from senior Emily Kochi, a goal and an assist from freshman Olivia Norchi, and 1 assist from junior Nina Petula. Here we go for the opening draw of the 3rd period. There's the whistle, up in the air, and it's collected by Downey. Downey running into the attack zone, passing it ahead. Finds her target. This is Hannah Park. Park working around behind the net. Swings the pass over to Faith Rothstein. Rothstein passes it back out to Ayana Medina, and then up top to Abby Cooney. Cooney surveys, passes out to Kellen McNamara. McNamara starts to charge. Too well defended, but she draws the whistle. Brookline has been effective with exactly 1 player out of the free position. Anya Downey, a perfect 4 for 4 out of that situation, while the rest of the team has yet to succeed on a free position shot. Now this is a chance for McNamara. McNamara charges in, takes the shot, saved by Hannah Lawrence. She's been a wall against every player not named Downey so far today. Now looking for the outlet, she finally gets one. Over to number 9, Lauren Feeney. Feeney running with it. It's deflected and she loses it. Picked up for a second by Rothstein, but she lost it. Ball is still loose, still being fought for. Picked up for a second, and then recovered again by Olivia D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro passes it ahead to Norchi, now ahead to Kochi. Kochi running with it, streaking towards the net, gets around one defender, shoots and scores! Kochi completes the hat trick. The senior Emily Kochi, with her 3rd goal of the day, cuts the Brookline lead down to 5-4 early here in the 3rd quarter. Now, of course, early in the 2nd period, Natick scored an early goal to cut the deficit to 1, but then Brookline held them off the rest of the way and scored another insurance goal of their own. It'll once again be Vincent versus Opie on the draw. Up in the air it goes. Deflected. And deflected again, but they're going to blow the whistle. They're going to say against Anya Downey, and so they give the ball to Chase Opie. Opie running with it, gets into the attack zone. Got some space to work, passes it over to Doherty. Mary Doherty streaking towards the net, but hits traffic. Instead swings an outside pass over to Olivia Norchi. Norchi sends it up top to Emily Kochi, who's got the hat trick. She swings it back over to Norchi. Norchi starts to move in, fakes a couple times, passes to Kochi. Kochi tries to break in, spins around, goes towards the net, and draws the whistle. Emily Kochi, who already has 3 goals today, will now be operating out of the free position. Good chance to challenge Kaylin Corain in net. There's the whistle. She charges, shoots, skips wide. Might have been slightly deflected by the defenders, Talia Thompson and Anya Downey. Possession stays with Natick as they have it behind the net. Starting to cut in fast, turning around, shoots and scores! The equalizer from Nina Petula. 5-5 now the score as Natick with some early momentum, and Brookline is going to call a timeout. Natick quick with the comeback here in the second half. They came in trailing 2 goals and got 2 goals very quickly. One from Emily Kochi, her 3rd goal of the day. And then one from Nina Petula, her 1st. And Brookline has now knotted things up, Natick rather, has knotted things up with Brookline at 5 apiece. You know, if I'm Brookline right now, I'd focus on finishing things offensively. They've had so many good chances to score, only to fall short, being turned away either by a defensive deflection or by the good skills in net of Hannah Lawrence. I mean, so far only one player has had success, and while Anya Downey's been very consistent, I think she's only been denied on one of her shots so far today, and that includes the goal that ultimately didn't count because of a whistle. You know, other players have had absolutely no success, and there have been some good chances for a number of the players that just haven't been turned away, or have been turned away and haven't scored. Five to 5 the score as they come out of the timeout. It'll be Vincent against Opie. Winning the draws has been critical so far today. We definitely saw Brookline build its early advantage in part thanks to winning those draws. And now Natick starting to win more draws later, and they're starting to come back. This one's up in the air. A loose ball, scrum for it, and ultimately picked up by Opie. Chase Opie running into the attack zone with the ball. Swings a pass over to number 9, Lauren Feeney, who then swings it behind the back of the net, passed back out. I believe that's Norchi. Norchi fakes, starts to drive in, spins around, runs into traffic, and sends an outlet pass back out to Monica Petula. Petula surveys, starts to charge, gets defended, and passes it along to Feeney. Feeney running towards the middle, tries to toss it to Kochi, misses, and ends up basically passing it to herself. And I guess that's a whistle that gives the free position to Kochi. That was a weird sequence. Kochi charging out of the self-given free position, but hits traffic, retreats, and passes over to Feeney. Feeney charging in, hitting traffic, trying to force her way through. Ball gets knocked loose, but not before the whistle. Lauren Feeney out of the free position with a good chance to score here. Kaylin Corain, the last wall in net. The charge, the shot, and the score! Lauren Feeney with the go-ahead score, and Natick has its first lead of this game. 6-5. 3 unanswered goals to start this third period. And Natick has doubled their margin in the span of a few minutes here in the third. Charlotte Vincent versus Chase Opie here on the draw. The draw's been going Natick's way a lot of late, and they've been taking advantage and making their comeback. Now this draw is up in the air. It's being knocked towards the Natick end. Loose ball. And we'll see which team they gave it to. They gave it to Brookline. Big chance here for Brookline as they pass it ahead to Anya Downey. Downey cutting towards the net, hits a defensive wall, and decides against it. Passes up top to Kellen McNamara. McNamara swings it over to Vincent, who then gives it over to Medina. Medina sends it back to Vincent, who tries to send it back to McNamara, but it's taken away defensively. Nice work by Emily Kochi. Kochi skips a pass ahead to Petula. That's Nina Petula running with it. She sends it to a wide open Feeney. Feeney streaking towards the net, shot and score! A quick transition game by the Red Hawks, starting with a great defensive play by Emily Kochi, and then a few quick passes. The last pass coming from Nina Petula to Lauren Feeney. Feeney buries her second goal of the day, and Natick now leads Brookline 7-5 off the back of 4 unanswered goals here in the third period. Vincent and Opie back to the draw. Draw is taken, and it's won by Downey. Downey takes it into the attack zone. Surveys. A floating pass connects. Ball is knocked free, and no whistle, and it's going to be picked up by Natick, but then they lose the ball, and it's picked up by Brookline. Wild sequence there. And finally, Brookline safely gets the pass out to Rothstein. Rothstein passes it out to Cooney, then over to McNamara. McNamara sends it over to Vincent, and then over to Medina. Medina sends it back to Vincent, who then passes it back up top to Downey. Downey fakes out one defender, gets around another, but runs out of room, being well covered by several Natick players. She starts to charge, trying to get around a defender, no room at all. She's being well covered as she passes it over to Cooney, who lost the ball for a second, then picks it back up. Ultimately sends a pass up top to Downey. Downey swings it over to Medina. Brookline needs someone else besides Downey to create those openings, because Downey's being absolutely smothered by the Red Hawks defense right now. Medina swings it over to number 2, a number that is not on my roster, so unfortunately I'm not sure who it is. Floats a pass over, a shot, and it misses wide. Recovered behind the net by Downey. That shot was attempted by Rothstein. Downey now running around, once again hits a defensive wall. Looking around. Trying to survey, being covered by Alexandra McGrath. She just keeps retreating, trying to spin around. No room at all. She finally comes around and starts to move. Still running around defenders, but she keeps running into another one. Sends an inlet pass and just deflected, but then recovered for a second by McNamara. Lost again, recovered again by McNamara. She seems to have it now. Running around. Tries to float a pass inside for Vincent. Misses the mark. It's a scrum around, but ultimately picked up by Hannah Lawrence. Lawrence looking around, sends a pass ahead. Finds Norchi. Norchi running with it. Being defended, ball is knocked away for a second, but she recovers. She gets across the attack line. And now behind the net is Norchi. Flips a pass over to Cuddy, and now out to Monica Petula. Up top to Opie. Swung over to Feeney. Now looking for Doherty, and Doherty sends it to the corner to Nina Petula. Petula surveys and decides to pass it back to Norchi behind the net. Norchi trying to get around her defender, forcing her way through, and she scores! The help defense arrived, but Norchi just danced her way around that too and got a nice open look at the net. And Natick's wild third quarter ride continues with the second goal of the day for Olivia Norchi. 8-5 now the score in favor of the Red Hawks. Vincent versus Opie on the draw. Up in the air it goes, and it's going to be picked up easily by Mary Doherty. Doherty running with it. Trying to force her way through. Running into some defense. And we've got a whistle. And it looks like Doherty is going to get the free position. Not a lot of luck thus far on the free position for Natick. They've been scoring through good passes and nice with ball movement, but she charges this time and buries it. Mary Doherty makes it 6 unanswered goals, all in this period, as the Natick lead extends to 9-5 off the free position shot. It feels like we've been seeing two different teams this second half. The two tightly contested teams have been replaced by a fairly one-sided offensive output. 9-5, Natick leads overall, and 6-0 they lead for this third quarter. Anya Downey now getting on the draw instead of Charlotte Vincent here against Chase Opie. Draw goes up, and it's collected by Vincent. So the switch works out for Brookline in the short term. Vincent brings the ball into the attack zone. Flips a pass over to Cooney. Cooney sends it behind the net to number 2. Number 2 swings it over to, I believe, Rothstein, and now out to McNamara. McNamara starts to charge, weaving her way through, but she gets swarmed, and the ball gets taken away. Passed ahead. That's number 6, Connolly, running with the ball. Catherine Connolly gets across the attack line along the far sideline. Turns around and sends a pass back to Doherty. Doherty sends it over to Monica Petula, juggled for a bit, but ultimately recovered. Petula swings it over to number 4, Mia Sullivan, who then swings it back to Petula. And now over to Alexandra McGrath. Back to Monica Petula. Petula passes it over to Doherty. Doherty starting to charge. Runs into the defense and loses the ball. It's picked up by Brookline's Faith Rothstein. Rothstein still running with it. Floats a pass to her left to Ayana Medina. Medina crosses the attack line and starts to charge. Runs into a pair of defenders. Flips a pass over to Cooney. Cooney goes for the net. Well defended by Natick. And they take over. The pass goes ahead. It's contested, but contested too harshly by Ava Bauman, and they give the ball to Natick. This will be Nina Petula with the ball. Petula running with it. She gets across the attack line. Swings it over to Doherty. Doherty flips it over to Feeney, and then back and forth, back to Feeney, over to Monica Petula. Long pass over to McGrath. Then over to the corner. Coming out of the corner, I believe, is Nina Petula. Sends a pass behind the net. I think that's Sullivan, who then passes it outside. I think that was McGrath who just swung it over to number 6, Connolly. Connolly starting to charge. Spins around a defender. Lost the ball, though, and it's picked up by Brookline. This is Vincent running with the ball now. As she flips it over to the Natick side of the field. She's still running with it. Nobody in front of her. Flips a pass, and it's missed. Number 2 had a wide open look at the net, but the pass was just off its mark. And so the turnover will give it back to Natick. Brookline having a lot of trouble with losing the ball deep in Natick's end. As the pass is flipped over to Nina Petula. Long pass aimed at Emily Kochi is completed, and Kochi's now running with it. Ball is knocked away, but nobody there to take it until Nina Petula. Across the attack line she goes. Petula starts to charge with it, weaves through another, and scores! Nina Petula, her second goal of the day. After a nice streak to the net. Just weaving her way through a couple of defenders and an easy path. Natick hits double figures. 10-5 now the score. Natick outscoring Brookline 7-0 in this third period. Ten to 5 is the score. It'll be Anya Downey against Monica Petula on the draw. Downey still the only Brookline player who has scored thus far. As the ball goes up, it's being contested, hotly contested, and they're going to blow the whistle. And they're going to blow it on Petula and give the ball to Downey. Downey flips it ahead to McNamara. McNamara runs across the attack line, still running with it. And it looks like that's going to be the whistle for the end of the period. We are through 3 here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. And the script has flipped since last we went to the break. Two teams came into this second half with the score Brookline 5, Natick 3. But as we get ready to transition into the fourth quarter, it has now been changed to Natick 10, Brookline 5. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan live here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, and I'll be back with the fourth quarter of play after this mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan and I'm here to bring you the fourth and final period of regulation of this high school girls lacrosse game between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Natick High Redhawks. Natick riding high with a 10-5 lead after scoring 7 unanswered goals in that third quarter. They got 2 apiece from Nina Petula and Lauren Feeney, and then 1 apiece from Mary Doherty, Emily Kochi, and Olivia Norchi. Kochi, of course, scored twice in the first half and leads her team with 3 goals, and Norchi had 1 in the first half as well and now has 2. 10-5 the score. It'll be Charlotte Vincent against Monica Petula for the opening draw of this fourth period. Ball is up in the air. Just missed by Downey, but she turns around and recovers it. Anya Downey running with the ball across the attack line. Waves around one defender and runs into another and can't advance. Anya Downey had all 5 of Brookline's goals in the first half, but has been absolutely smothered here in the second half, and no one else has been able to step up and breach the lines of this Natick defense. Downey with the ball, starting to charge. Again, gets smothered by multiple defenders, tries to turn around, keeps getting smothered, forcing her way through. Shot saved by Hannah Lawrence. Now Natick working on the clear along the far side. This is number 2, Lily Kingdon, who flips it over to Emily Kochi. She has 3 goals so far today, leading all Natick scorers, as she flips one over to number 15, Amelia Morales, who then sends it ahead to Nina Petula. Petula had 2 goals in that explosive third period as she flips it over to Mia Sullivan, and now back up top to Alexandra McGrath, who then flips it over to Catherine Connolly, and then over to Kochi, and then back over to McGrath. McGrath surveys, slips a bit, gets back up, gets around her defender, charges, and scores! First goal of the fourth period by number 18, the senior co-captain Alexandra McGrath. I mean, when you're able to slip, fall, get back up, and then slip past your defender, I mean, you almost wonder if, like, the sudden starting and stopping caused by the slip maybe threw her defender off balance or something. Hard to say, but either way, McGrath buries her first goal of the day, and Natick extends the lead to 11-5. It's been all Natick since the start of this second half. Brookline went into halftime with a 5-3 lead, but since then it's been 8 unanswered goals by the Redhawks. This draw is controlled by Anya Downey. Downey weaving around. A whistle is blown, and so she'll operate out of the free position. She has to retreat as the defender's swarming her once again, but she weaves her way through into the attack zone, sends a pass ahead to number 2, who loses the ball. It's a battle between 2 number 2s, and the whistle is blown against Natick. Brookline's number 2 moving with the ball, passes it back to, I believe, Abby Cooney. Now over to Faith Rothstein. Rothstein has 1 assist on the day thus far. She flips it over to Kellen McNamara. McNamara starts to charge and fights her way into a wall, but passes it over to Vincent. She juggled it for a second, but recovered it. And now she flips it over to Ayana Medina. Medina decides to spin around her defender, spin back, but nothing doing. She flips back out to Vincent. Vincent looking around, surveying. The outlet pass to, I believe, Rothstein, who then flips it over to Downey. Downey still looking, starting to charge in. Swarmed by defenders, and she draws a whistle. That swarming defense has absolutely smothered Downey thus far, but she's finally back in the free position that has served her so well so far. A perfect 4 for 4 so far. She charges and gets turned away for the first time today. The one play that seemed absolute for Brookline in the first half, Anya Downey out of the free position, and it doesn't work. If that doesn't perfectly represent this game's turnaround, I don't know what does. Besides the scoreboard, obviously. Natick running with it. That is Monica Petula, who flips it over to Connolly. And then a couple passes, they end up behind the net. Now coming out of the back, she's got an opening, and saved by Karain. Loose ball after the shot was turned away from Mia Sullivan, but the rebound is recovered by Alexandra McGrath. Passing around they go. Pass outside. They eventually go up top to Emily Kochi. Kochi passes inside, but it's lost and recovered by Faith Rothstein. We've got a whistle. And so Brookline will take over. And Rothstein sends a pass in retreat to Kaylin Karain. Karain passes it ahead to Downey. Downey throws it ahead to Rothstein. Rothstein flips it over to Medina. Medina in the attack zone. Starting to cut towards the net. Runs into defenders, runs around, still running around and running out of room. Flips it back out to McNamara. Back over to Medina. Then back to McNamara. McNamara gives it over to Downey. Downey then gives it over to McNamara. McNamara starts to move, but no openings there, and so she flips it over to Medina. Medina trying to charge in, takes a shot, off the side bar. Shot goes off the post and is recovered by Monica Petula, who is now running in transition for Natick. Sends the pass over to Nina Petula. Nina Petula flips a pass over to, I believe, Norchi. Shot saved by Karain. Karain doing a good job as the last line of defense there, turning away a good scoring chance by Olivia Norchi. Surveying, looking for the outlet pass. And ultimately she gives it to Downey. Downey sends it ahead, off the bounce to Rothstein. Rothstein flips it ahead, juggled, but recovered by McNamara. McNamara lost it again, but recovered it again. Turns around and starts moving towards the net, trying to bull her way through, takes a shot and turned away again. I think this time it was deflected by a defender. And in the scrum for the ball, they're going to award possession to Natick. Brookline not really able to put any sequenced plays together on their offense so far. And every time they try and just push their way through, it hasn't been working this half. As we got a foul call and we got a player down. That is Olivia Norchi, the freshman who has scored twice already today. Back on her feet, Opie. Now Opie sending it behind the net. Skips away from Sullivan, but recovered by Cuddy. Cuddy passes to a cutting Norchi, who scores. Three goals for Olivia Norchi today as she comes in after the injury and buries the shot. 12-5, now the lead for Natick. Some nice passing around there by Natick, and that really has been the difference between these two offenses here in the second half. Natick has done a really good job passing the ball and making some nice off-the-ball movement. While Brookline, when they've gotten the possessions, for the most part, they've just been trying to bull rush their way through the defense single-handed. The draw is controlled by Downey. Downey runs into the attack zone. Still charging, shoots and scores! Downey back on the scoreboard with her 6th goal of the day, as well as Brookline's 6th goal of the day, and the first goal of the second half. Natick's scoring streak ends at 9 unanswered goals, and the score is now 12-6 in favor of the visiting Redhawks. Anya Downey with her 6th goal of the day, leading all scorers, but her team still trails as the draw skips all the way into the attack zone for Natick and is scooped up by number 12, Olivia D'Alessandro. She flips that pass over to Cuddy, who then passes it back out to D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro sends it up top to Opie, who juggles it but recovers it. Starts to move on the attack, fakes out her defender but loses the ball, scoops it back up, goes back on the attack, shoots and misses wide. Megan Cuddy will take it out from behind, trying to move around her defender, Nina Luby. Well defended, and she just has to pass it away. This is Nina Petula. Petula looking for an opening, trying to get around her defender, and she can't get the shot off. Well defended by Brookline, and the loose ball is recovered by Charlotte Vincent. Vincent running with it and draws the whistle from the defender, D'Alessandro. And Vincent flips it over to Downey. Downey now cutting towards the net, getting around her defender, shoots and scores again! Anya Downey carrying this Brookline team on her back with her 7th goal of the day. Seven goals, and I feel like only one qualifies as an assisted goal, because a lot of these have just been either her operating out of the free position or her just streaking to the net by herself. She brought the speed there, got around her defenders, and then made a nice low shot to fake out the goalie. 12-7 now the score in favor of Natick here in the 4th period. It'll be Vincent against Opie here on the draw. Up in the air it goes, and it goes to Doherty. Doherty being defended by Downey, and she flips a long pass over to number 16, who is charging towards the net, gets around one defender, can't get around another, and has to pull back and retreat. She passes it back out to Doherty. That was number 16, Molly Healy, who was trying to make things happen, but nothing doing there. Doherty looking around. Starts to charge. Can't get around her defender, and has to flip the pass over. Now cutting around is Nina Petula, and nicely saved by Karain. Dangerous chance there from Nina Petula. She's scored twice today already, but Karain denies her this time, and the long pass goes ahead to Talia Thompson. Thompson being well defended, and she flips a pass over to Ava Bauman. Bauman juggles it, but recovers, and moves the ball into the attack zone. Still running with it is Ava Bauman. Bauman pushing her way through, straight to the net, and saved by Lawrence. The senior defender was trying to take it all by herself, but was ultimately turned away by the last line of defense, the freshman goalie, Hannah Lawrence. Natick now moving in transition. The pass ahead to Megan Cuddy. Cuddy moving around behind the net. Looking around for a pass. She swings it over to D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro sends it back to Cuddy. Cuddy sends it along the back, and it's swung over to Petula, but she loses track of it, and she tries to keep it in bounds, and she does. Flips it over to Healy. Healy gives it to Doherty, who shoots and scores. Again, some nice passes off some nice cuts there. That one from Healy to Doherty. And Mary Doherty gets her 2nd goal of the game. And the Natick lead extends to 13-7. We head back to the draw. This time it'll be between Anya Downey and Chase Opie. We got a discussion by the officials. I'm not sure what for. That was the second goal of the day for Mary Doherty. She joins fellow multi-goal scorers on the roster, Emily Kochi, who has 3, Nina Petula, who also has 2, Lauren Feeney, who also has 2, Olivia Norchi has 2. And yeah, that's about it. So 2 apiece from Doherty, Nina Petula, Feeney, and Norchi. 3 from Emily Kochi. 1 from Alexandra McGrath. I think there might be one I'm missing. Actually, I think Nina Petula might have the hat trick as well. As this draw is won by Doherty, who just scored her second goal. Running with it now. She runs out of room and has to flip it back behind the net. This is Mia Sullivan flipping it over to Megan Cuddy. Cuddy looking around. Sends a skipping shot, and that one goes in. No one saw that shot coming, and certainly not the goalie. It seemed like she didn't have a good position to do it, but she just decided to skip one into the net. So Megan Cuddy joins the goal scorers here today for Natick. And the lead now becomes 14-7 here in the 4th period. (11-2), Natick is outscoring Brookline here in this second half, after Brookline took the halftime lead 5-3. The draw is collected for a second by a couple of people, but then ultimately scooped up by Doherty. Doherty now running with it and flips it over to Nina Petula. Petula now sends it over to Sullivan, and then behind the net to Cuddy. Cuddy over to Opie. Opie up top to Doherty. Now over to Nina Petula. Behind the net again to Sullivan. Natick just passing the ball around. And there's your final whistle. The final score here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. The visiting Natick Redhawks 14. The hosting Brookline Warriors 7. A tough second half for Brookline. They had gotten out to a good start, took a 4-2 lead in the first period, and then kept up pace in the in a low-scoring second period, went into halftime with a 5-3 lead. But then things absolutely exploded on Natick's end. 7 unanswered goals in the third period to go up 10-5, and then ultimately they outscored Brookline 4-2 in that final period to take the win 14-7. Natick with some well spread out scoring, and I'm going to try my best to give some accurate statistics here. They were led by hat tricks from both senior Emily Kochi and freshman Olivia Norchi. Along with those 2 3-goal scorers, they also had 2 goals apiece from senior co-captain Mary Doherty, junior Nina Petula, junior Lauren Feeney, and I believe that's it for the 2-goal scorers. The 1-goal scorers, senior co-captain Alexandra McGrath and senior Megan Cuddy, each had 1 goal. So those were the 14 scorers for Natick, and as for Brookline's side, it's pretty easy to sum up. 7 goals, all from senior midfielder Anya Downey. 4 of them out of the free position, 2 of them unassisted, and then 1 assisted by sophomore midi Faith Rothstein. So a good start turns into a tough finish for the Warriors, and a tough start turns into a strong finish for the Redhawks. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. If you like my broadcasts, you want to stay up to date on them, you can follow me on social media at Facebook and Instagram. Links in the description of this video. And I am doing this as a free volunteer and plan to keep doing it, but if you like what I do and you're feeling generous, you want to make a donation, I have a PayPal and a Venmo account. Again, links in the description of this video. And that's going to wrap things up here at Downs Field. For the last time, the final score, Natick 14, Brookline 7. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, signing off. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.